speak of the house on the phone for me, please? Right away, sir. Sorry, I can't see you. And this is zeroed in on a dime. This happened. See, Martin, when you know this is zero in on me. Fair point, sir. Oh, no, it's shit. Well, it's fine. Thank you, Mr. President. I love it. You never have had a tough go on these things. We all have to make sacrifices for our country. I have to speak here at the house, please, sir. Thank you, Margaret. Welcome, sir. Eli, let's play this piece, Mr. President. I'm on board. We have a little shot piece. You do know that your plan is to upset the entire country. I mean, these powerful people, they're running both parties. Well, I talked to President Al briefly again about the discussion we had 6 months ago.
Yeah, I wish it would act right, but it hasn't been as very clear. Okay. I'm trying to get this red tail, but I'm using a different red tail than I used before. So I spun and twisted this tail, and then that's what you get. So I twisted this. That's the tail. With the tail we get. So it looks like a flame, and then I'm gonna have to wrap down all the way there. Watching a movie that I've already seen before, but I was like, watch this movie. So that's what you're hearing.
You can be the man that can take these guys down. I'd like to drag every one of these CEOs in front of Congress, but
Some of that off of there. It's just a trout, like a little, should be like a little rainbow cutthroat trout fly. I don't know, could catch other things too. Yeah, but it's a good color combination. And then this is where the fun comes out. Oh, I'm fine, man. You don't understand, like, I mean, some people understand, and like, there's a lot of people involved in masonry and cult stuff. For me, I was chosen as an abuse victim because I figured something out before I was for anything, and that's what it was. And so, any groups do that. Yes. That's what it is, and some people know it, and then. They and then the truth of some of it is they operate within a certain thing. So that's all it is. I'm just really aware, and then they never liked it that. Simple as that. Yeah, that's the real world edition. That's the real world edition. That's basically what I'm showing you, the real world edition. Like when I'm not dying or I have to go somewhere. That's why I was like, I gotta talk to her. Like, because there's some stuff that happened in that zone. That particular place I went to, someone crashed into the thing, but some of that stuff sometimes that's the second time that's happened. But let's just say that had something to do with some dark work, and I know why. And then a couple people who used to work there, they don't work there, and then they were given jobs by cult members too. But I'm aware of it because they almost gave me a job there. But then I was like, I don't want to tote this certain type of gun. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, there's stuff I just understand and I know, and people were blocking that. So that's all it is. If I can get this it's just having a little bit of problem. Give it a shot. It usually does good when I can focus it before the other part. Yeah. But when my hand comes into view and it's trying to light adjust. There we go. Man, you listen to the music I listen to? Great. Are you even you, or am I even me, or is it just you? kind of music y'all guys like? I like all kinds. Doesn't matter if they're in a cult. Doesn't matter if they're what they are. I like all kinds. You should too. At least most people do. Problem is with some of these people is when you kind of know how they treat you. So we have to turn this now. See, click it. Oh, it's hard to avoid drama from outside influences if you have a lot of other stuff. And so people just take that information and try to use it. And you can try to, it's not that, it's about enacting it. So sometimes when you enact something and you do it in a different way, someone's trying to find a way to destruction of that. My exes did it. It doesn't matter though. One of my exes was like, "You should tie your lures." So she was supportive of that, but it didn't stop her from screwing one of my friends and who was involved in the cult too, involved in Illuminati and all this stuff, and then laughing in my face like that's better than you getting pregnant over there, screwing another friend too who was involved, and then talking about me. Don't talk about him, but didn't know damn shit about me. That's on her ass, right? Fuck them. Let me tie my shit, do pop my shit. Just told someone today. I said, "You want to try to put a game of repeat from a James Drayden dickhole? Motherfucker needs to be. That motherfucker should have been dead a long time ago. So a couple other motherfuckers should have been dead a long time. The fuck they do to people, and thinking it's funny because they have a certain power within a masonry covenant or some bullshit. You know, tell me I'm a piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here. I'm trying to make me look like the fucking real evil one, and then knowing what you're plotting, I know all the plot, like half the time. Like get the fuck out of here. That's the part that bothers them too. I'll talk about it, and I try to be friends to everybody. I actually try to be friends to everybody, but I'm not gonna be friendly and nice. Motherfuckers treating me unnice all the time and manipulated spiritual gifts off of me, and then just try to get rich off of me. Yeah, there's a couple of them, and then trying to steal girlfriend, all that shit. So it's like, you know what? Fuck you motherfuckers act like that, because I don't need to do that, because I got some morality to me. Fuck shit. So if you got morality to you, then this is the channel for you. Or you've been through some shit like that and it tried to destroy your morality or who you are, then this is the channel for you. It go further than just tying a fucking fly. Like I go further than just tying a fucking fly. It might seem boring, certain things or whatever. It's like that's what it goes further than. That little snaky, luminous shit is bullshit, dude. It's all like I went to the studies of where it came from. So I'm a good person, dude. I'm actually a cool person, but that's not what that operates off on. That operates off of something else. So we're making like a thick body on this too. Pull it over. It's just kind of like I was like wanting to tie because I really enjoy tying actually. Like that was something I really but when people try to destroy that from me and then like think they're better or something, I was like, you're just a shit. And then you're like, you're better, and then they want you to like feel like you're lacking, and you're not really lacking. It just shows what they are, and it shows what they thought that you were. So it's just kind of how things are with human beings. So but we learn that, don't we? And so, Oregon Fish is the one who told me to get this when I actually visited and hung out with him once. And then I was like, nah, I don't think we should be like treating each other bad or anything. I'm just one who's I'll say it because I'm not it doesn't matter on the platform or off the platform because that's how I feel about it. And then, I've actually had interaction with other person attire too, and they were like, yeah, there's some stuff. But it wasn't with him. It wasn't bad. It was just, oh, shut up. She was like, don't stir problems with people. I said, it's not about stirring problems like when people stirred problems with me from the get-go. And I knew what it was. It just had to do with when I was born and stuff, and certain stuff. It had nothing to do with my date and born. It had to do it with just how I approached and said certain things about stuff that they didn't want me saying. It's about it. So when you realize that, then you're just like, oh, leave that person alone. And I watched somebody else go through it too. So some of them had channels too. Some of them don't. So I was just like, it's bullshit, And I always was like, hey, wait a minute here. But we're just tying this basic fly, if you can see it. It's a basic trout fly. Simple pattern that I had messed with before Mr. Somebody else wanted to make it like a cultic bullshit, which I knew which he plotted. He wanted it to be like he's like, well, they attacked me, which I warned him about. I said, I'm the one you probably shouldn't be worried about, bud. If you can see, you're the one who's working a JOB, and I'm the one that he keep trying to take a JOB away from. Who's actually really can be kind of skilled at some stuff when he wants to be. Not how everybody else wants me to be skilled, because they want to have their own skill sets and talk about people. So this is like an embroidery of gold. This is an embroidery of gold on this. This is something that I discussed with another fly fisherman about a year ago, and we talked about it, and he was like, please give me some of this. And so I sent him some. So I'm going to try to see if I can use this as the dubbing spinner. So this is a dubbing spinner, but I'm using it on this because this is like a thin, but I'm using the embroidery and I'm wrapping it. I'm trying to wrap it and spin it a little bit with some oval tinsel, so it has a true flash within it, mixed within it. Not necessary at all. But thank you for coming in. A little late, but when suffering type happens, you'll be up. I'll be up. Me, I'm up because of the stuff that's been done. Sometimes I'm up, but lately I've been able to sleep, which is a good thing. Again, but it doesn't mean the war ain't won. With some of the activity, and it has to do with the leaders of some of these things. So it had nothing to do. It has to do with what I depicted or something, and that bothered them because it's like the minions aren't supposed to be able to do that, and it had nothing to do with tying. It had something to do with something else, control stuff. So that's what happens when you put the embroidery, type of embroidered thing on it. So this is like an oval with the new stuff with the old stuff. And I'm even gonna tie it how everybody else wants it to be tied, and then sink and cut it down so it won't come off. I didn't hardly ever tie like this anymore. I just tie the overhang. Because when I start off and coming back to something, I always start in the old-fashioned way I always tied. So this one's just kind of a fun, easy pattern. Nothing crazy. I just kind of threw it together. Something I had tied before too. But this time I'm not going to put 2 wings on it, double wings on it. Use this one. I'm actually going to do, I'm trying on hackle, but I did black over the black on the body, but I think this one I'm going to do it's like more like a real gray hackle peacock type of pattern. Instead of it just being on the front, I'm going to do the whole front end, if that makes sense. So it's going to be like the whole front part. And then it's going to have just one layover. And then because it's like that, it's only going to have one layover feather on it at all. So, and this is just the old uni thread. A little tough, building it up a little too much, to be honest. And I gotta save part of this. But this is mostly like a trout panfish fly what I'm tying. And I'm trying not to put too much of a hit on there. Like a see, so it's getting like a bullish rate. It's already trying to form the head. I don't want to. Camera's gonna be doing weird stuff. It's been doing this. This is exactly what they tried to do before, but it's not the camera no more. It's actually not the camera. It's the app. It's part of the app update because it didn't start. This didn't start till that point in time. So I actually have to keep my hands pretty active. See, as you can see, I have to keep my hands almost like active in front of that camera. It's still, because see, it's focus. It's just, it's the technology. It's not me at this point. It's just and how I'm moving. And I adjusted one of the camera things, and I have to adjust it back, and I adjusted that, and then it still was doing this. But this is that bleached hair, which good, right? Perch type things, but not if your place where your fish doesn't have much perch as much anymore because this, which they tried to block that too. There's just stuff I see and I know, but I'm just not the person who's gonna not tell you. I'm not gonna pretend. And certain stuff that happened to me, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like, like how some of this stuff has been portrayed, and that could be bothersome to other fishermen or like, you're trying to cause a problem. It's like, no, you're just like, it just means like, I'll stand up for stuff, and I'll stand behind you too. But hey, if somebody does some bullshit, I'll stand behind you too, and that's supposed to be. But it's not just about the fishing for me anymore. It's like it's something else. Like, see, it's wrapping on its. There's other ways to do. But the higher quality feathers, obviously, it's gonna wrap better. But you'll see. You all know what I'm about to do, right? So this is a bushier fly than the other one, and I made it this way purposely. So yeah, and this is why I teach you that trick, because it makes it easier. This is why that trick is that technique is taught. See, but it wants to be where you finish it off. I don't want to finish this fly like that, because I still got stuff. See, so it's see that part. So for me, it's easier to wrap too. See, and it slipped. It slipped because of the way the head was made. But it didn't do this when I tied the other one. So now I'm going to show you. It's loose. See, it's loose, but I'm going to grab it and twist. And just twist my hand around. So, like, when you mess up, you can still not, like, it still can be wonderful. But this fly is, like, literally not meant for, it's just like, I'm just messing around with this thing anyway. I don't care. It's not supposed to be beautiful. It's a simple, it's a lot low cost to make this fly too. Anyway. See, so now, so this is where I'm going to tell you where I messed up right here. And you're seeing it right now. You see? I'll show you what happens when you mess up. So I'll show you what happens when you mess up on the fly. Where you feel like you're struggling and messing up. Look at that. Does that look like a beautiful pattern? It's done right there. This pattern is done right there. That is fishable. That is almost basically That's basically like a trout streamer wet right there. And I left a little bit of it sticking out there. So this is very old school tie big old barrage of fly style. And I'm gonna put a little glue just in there. So it's just like some flies you don't. It's not required. Certain things aren't required. But it's nice when you get more uniform. So same fly, different style. It's the same fly. It's just different. There's a different color variation with and I used a different style of feather. That was a premium feather. This is a premium feather on this. That's just a strong hackle. That's a premium on the tops, and that's just a strong. Same everything else the same. Everything else the same, except for this. And then see, like it's like a totally different fly, but it's almost the same. Only thing I changed, this isn't black. Now it's the actual grizzly in the body. You get a different effect. But I also picked the feather from a different place. So feather from a different place. See, it's a bigger feather. I would rather use this on a streamer, big streamer. Here's that streamer I made. This is more of a teaser streamer. That's just like a skill work streamer. And I did that before. I showed you guys before that, back in the day. But same thing, but if I pop that on there, what you got? It's a bait fish. It's a great Florida lure or some other saltwater type of thing, or even in the lake too, if you use it in the right way. I've always just been kind of like, like, I'm like, huh? Like, and then we were like, you need to do, like, I don't know why everybody's saying that. So I just do this, like, simple stuff. Like, so, but instead of that, what we're going to do is we're going to use that and see how that one had a piece missing and I used it to wrap. That's what I'm doing with this one. I'm going to pop that loose. I'm going to take my scissors right there. See if I can get it. Let me see. And I'm going to lose some of that hackle, though. Lose some of that. Did I lose some of that hackle in my hand? Now, if I can do-si-do that, I'm going to have to trim it. I'm going to lose some of it. So, like I said, you can do different things, and that makes your lure a little bit more accustomed to you. Now, it should. Now, see, if you saw what I did, it should stand up. It should stand up, and that it kind of blends into the top. But if I turn it to the side, like if I roll it, now you have like a little bit of accent or something. If you roll a bigger feather, but I wanted it like kind of like on the top. Should have been a little longer. I could still pull it out a little bit, but I don't want to do too much. Yep, because see, it came out. That's all it is. Like, it's just intricate adjustments, all this stuff. So I'm going to unwind it, actually, because I want that out of there. So I'm willing to waste that. Pull that off of there. And then I'm going to put how I really want it to be. Yeah. Me and Crazy were talking about this, like the bleach stuff. He's like, use the bleach one. I was like, okay, well, here's the bleach one. I'll use the bleach one, and I'll show you what I'll do with a bleach grizzly thing. Here's another thing you can do that you don't have to do. It's just whatever you feel like. Once when you have the skills, like, it doesn't matter. But it's something you'd be like, I'm trying to tie and like hat it, and you're like, man, they've been tying those forever. It's like you can take that same thing. You don't have that pretty tail on it, but you can lay that on top. That's your streamer. Like that's that wet. Now it's a wet. It's a longer wet fly. Now it's a streamer. It's like doubles as a double. So certain hooks also are like that too. So like some of the hooks you don't want to bend like that, and people are like, "Well, I need this," and then so they need to create all these different things. But sometimes like the bend of that hook, and then see if you pull that, it tighten it, see how it wants to stand. So the trick about it is to get it to when you pull it, you want it to stand up like it's the fin, you know. But sometimes you're gonna have to manipulate that feather a little bit, and it might not even be in the place where you thought it was gonna be. Like this, it's like, but it's showing to your side. So so that's how you would tie the left-handed flies and right-handed flies. So like that's what I was like. So I explained it as like it's a little bit of a, and sometimes it just goes right in place where you want it. Like, and you're like, I didn't even. You're just in that mode, and you're like, dang, everything, and you're like, I better tie another one because I'm, See, so I turned it to the side. Now you can see it for the camera, but the truth is, it needs to ride on top a little bit. So it's good for you to see it, but the truth is, it kind of needs to like ride like that, and I need to pull it in so it comes up, so it'll come up and won't move. And then let's wrap it down. So then, like, I'm kind of doing the old school trout head. And like, this is why this type of stuff is why I appreciate Nimby's style of time. Y'all know, because this is the way I used to always tie stuff, and it gives you all these different things because you learn how to tie a fly and do other skills because you realize the hand movement, how the thread moves. So tying your basic trout fly, when you get done with doing tons of those, you might feel like, you know what I mean? But it's fun. See, so it actually is fun because you can make really a lot of beautiful stuff, really great things, great patterns. And you can see, but this fly, I cut out that one. You can see where I cut this out. And there was one that was in there somebody else cut out. And yeah, I know who it came from too. I know how like they'd be like, hey, send it to him. We don't want to send that. They already picked at it. Like, I already know. I don't mind if people picked at it because I know what they're trying to do. So I don't have qualms with that stuff because I've given people ideas and they've told me things like, yeah, that was a good thing, or that was cool. So I kind of want that to look like that. I was like, you know what? I was gonna do the other one different, but this one I was like, I wanted to have that. And see, like I messed up with that loop. Look, it's gonna catch that feather. But here it is. It looped around. Did it catch it? It didn't catch it. Away from her. I was able to hold it off. So sometimes this is what it is. So when I always first started tying, this is like something I would tie, like in a way, like I'm just making it. I would just be like, I'm putting something together after something I already, and I'll put it in it be a basic trout fly. But as you can see, that's a totally different trout fly than a type of trout fly than this one. When I started tying that, but it's the same concept. It's the same style of hook. But as you can see, how I made the feathers, these are double, so double feathers. So to make it lay out like that, you gotta. Yes, it's just all about placement and when you put that thread down. But this is uni thread I'm using. I'm not using the fancy silkins. Those are great too. You could do the same thing with the silken one, but sometimes with certain flies, you don't need. You can tie them like that, and they're gonna work out. They might, some of them fall up. Sometimes certain flies, I'll know too, they fall apart sooner if you fish enough. Then once you fished long enough, you'll know. You're like, oh shit, oh crap, like that fly, like man, I tore that joint up, and you're like, oh, okay. And then but just like a half it on this one, but just a little glue, like these ones. I love tying these all. I used to sit and tie like trout flies all day, all different kind of stuff, and then I started catching all kind of other stuff with them, certain ones. throwing together other colors. And then I realized sometimes that some colors were too much, and then some things that didn't matter. Some colors didn't matter, and I was like, it didn't even matter. Like as long as it like twitched a certain way and it had it, the fish could like go, whoa, I see that. So, so it's not always about that when you even if you make something that's not in the market yet or anything. So there's lots of people tie something like they become like a blown up whatever, and so it's not what everything what you think. It's a craft. It's a bunch of different things, and so you try to have respect for each other. And sometimes there's some people are very competitive, you know. And I was a very competitive person when I was younger too, but I wasn't competitive like that when I was younger. I really didn't understand why certain stuff would go wrong. When I was tying something, I'd be like, "Why is that person doing that?" I was like, "Oh, trying to like lure," and be like, "He just tied that." I'm like, yeah, I tied exactly like you. Like they're like one of those people. He ties a lot of flies right now, or like, well, he does like fly stuff jigs. But it's just kind of funny how that is. And then I gave, it's just kind of funny. And then, that some people will, they got to take it to the grave, so they will never. But I'm a different type of person. But I'm like, hey, listen, show me some stuff. But there you go. It's like a really quick little trout fly. And I did it with this little spot in there. See, like, there's a spot in there. Now, if I had razor scissors, right? I don't have razor scissors, so I would have to deal with that different. Or so that's what you have to think about. If you're a first time fly tire too, that's what you would have to think about. Like when you see someone cut something a certain way, you need to understand like maybe your scissors will be sharp like that for a while, but they ain't gonna be sharp like that later. You might have to go to the store, find you a pair of scissors, try to trim something or do something. And if you're like see like oh no, I messed up. Bloop. It's like and now it's back to the same pattern. And honestly, to the fish, I don't think that's gonna matter. It's because this is supposed to be like this one's supposed to be more like a streamer moving pattern kind of in a way, but it's like a similar to a wet fly. But I just I needed that grizzly look. So I'm just gonna press the scissors in between here. And then now I have it more like I would really want it to be. Now it's really more V-shaped, but it's standing up. But once it starts going in that water, it's gonna start laying down. It's kind of moving like like some other, and it already has that on the body. It's like the other hackle, it's long, covering the body. But yeah, turn it over. It's a little wacky on the other side. Just a quick trout fly. It's not gonna. For me, it was just like, do a little fun. Like for me, this one is like, it's like I'm not looking for. I'm not like for me. I'm like this one. I'm not trying to do perfection on it. I just want it to be nice. Little fish. But it's nice. You want it uniform. You want it uniform if you can. So when fish look at it from a different view, they get both sides. So like that one, we're talking about the purple Joe. They're like, he made a purple Joe, and he caught like people stuff like you need to talk more, catch one with the purple Joe. I was like, yeah, I have, but it's like doesn't, it's not about that. It's like the fly wasn't there unless it didn't. The person developed sometimes unless it developed and it didn't catch. Some flies were there and they didn't develop and didn't catch. There's also flies that weren't developed and didn't catch, but they were variations of the other fly and they did catch. And then people tried to take that fly. Different stuff. And then they try to be like, no one ever caught anything, and they make it like a whole thing. So there's lots of things that people have done within the fly tying world that I've learned about. You'll learn about that until you get history of certain stuff and whatnot. But here, I'll let you guys get a look at that one because I didn't tie this live. I tied one before years ago, about a year ago. But there's that one. And so this tail, these two probably be longer, could be wider, bigger, but I decided to make it like that. I'll be right back, guys. If because I'm gonna tie one more and then I'm gonna be off of here, most likely. I think I'm gonna tie the next fly. I'm gonna tie is gonna be. I'll have to put it on mute too. But next fly I'm gonna tie is gonna be. It's gonna be like something like a spinner type fly, like a mayfly. And I'm gonna see if I can. Hopefully, the camera will operate properly for us in the next couple minutes here. But let me go. Need to go to the restroom. Like number one. Right back. Okay. So yeah, that's basically another pattern in it. They call this other one. That's what this pattern is, but they call it something else. And I'm like, like these things to me. This it's just variation of something else that somebody else already created. So it just gets kind of weird, when people try to get mad at you about it, like or something, or try to make us. And then they're like, well, see, we took your. But then that thing is when they look at the craftsman of it, they're like, that's dope. Like that is kind of dope. So if someone does that to you, to take your lures up, because you're probably you're probably kind of dope about it. You might not be blown up, well named, 100K, 50K, whatever, but you're there. You're just different. You're just not the same. For me, it's also about like the art more sometimes now. It was about for me, it was about the art and like respecting the art. When I started, and I was very much like, yeah, there should be like a respect there. And I found some people don't have respect for that, and they want you to be the unrespected. So anyway, on to the next pattern. On to the next fly. Let's see if we can tie this one. So that was the next one. We're going to tie a spinner. Let's see if we can tie one. This one's going to be difficult to tie. The new thing. This one's going to be difficult to tie. This thing's going to be difficult. About these, I don't know. I'm still getting used to it. It's when you buy a tool and you're so used to doing the things with your hands without having a mechanical tool, it's a little different. And what I'm going to try to do, let's see what size. We might as well tie one in the size it might be. I might fish actually. That actually would fish. 12 was pretty close. Let's do 12. We'll do size 12. So we'll do a size 12. Size 12. Comparison to the notch on my finger, I'm 6'1" ish. 6'1" ish to 2 ish. And usually people like wanted to put that on the end. I stopped putting them on the end because I started cutting the thread from the actual hooks being so sharp. Because when I first started, they would call these hooks were different back in the day. But now, after a while, years, I started like pushing them back into the vise more. And this is a simple vise, which I've actually adjusted the jaw on this vise. You can adjust the jaw on this vise if you want to. It's just you can't swap the jaw that I know of anyway. And on this one, I think I'm gonna still stick with the black thread. We're gonna stick with the old school 3D. So this is gonna be a mayfly, basically, is what we're trying to get here. Is a mayfly pattern, and this a dry fly hook. And see, this one I should be putting wax all over this to keep it so it'll float. So, which I will. But this is unwaxed line. Usually thread. I usually buy waxed one if I can, and I'll just put anything that is waxed, but it's not because the wax is not enough to keep it. I guess that would be the word. The wax isn't enough to cause an issue. So if I can remember this right, I'm trying to think how I want to do this. And I'm just making like a variation of like a kind of like a spinner, a spinner style, like lay flat mayfly here. I think instead of doing like a split tail thing like a mayfly, I'm just gonna put this like this and call that like it's split tail. And it's a close resemblance, and this is a close resemblance to the split tail, and that's just a piece of mallard. So, and let's see how we can, and I think that's close enough resemblance to me. But like they say, your wraps kind of mean something sometimes when you start trying these little things. See, it's going down. I want them to go up. I might have to undo it a little bit. If you want that effect, right? Well, I guess you know what? I can get that effect. It's going to sit on that water and move anyway. See, so you want that split tail effect? You can still do a split tail effect with this. I don't know, you can just pull the feathers apart. If you really want a split tail effect, you could just take the, like I was doing, like take the thread. Right. There's lots of things that you don't think about that you don't need to, that aren't necessary, but you could do. You could take that thread and run it through the middle of that. If I had more fiber there, and put a split. It's a mayfly. But this one was like, I just wanted to have like a little tail. Like it's a mayfly. It's kind of long. That's what a mayfly would look like. Spraggly tail. They kind of are modeled the tails of if I were, and their body's a little fat. They're kind of fat right there, and it kind of goes up. So it's like, think about that. If you want to tie it like more resembling, think about that stuff. But I'm gonna try to take this other piece for the body and then run it up, and then I'm gonna do a parachute on the top, a parachute hackle with the bleach grizzly, or I'm gonna take it in and do just 2 wings out. You could do 2 wings out with just some. You could use this. Like to the side. You could use this plume as your mayfly hackle or your mayfly wings if you wanted to, and but just do them really, just not use as big of a piece, big a piece of this. This is a piece of marabou, but it's the cut marabous. So that's why I said save your stuff. You can make other patterns in a pinch, and you don't have to have CDC specifically, but CDC does move differently. So some patterns, some things, it's like I noticed like, no, I need that squirrel. Like it's something about I need squirrel hair, or I need certain things. It's like it's just something about the way that hair sits, or the feather sits, or something. And Works good. So this one, it's a lot smaller. Got lots of stuff going on here. So those are the big ones, you know. So these are like I want to put streamers on these. I want to put my saltwater streamers, other stuff on these, but these ones, these are your dry flies, and these are your dry flies down here. And then you got something in the between, in the middle, and you're gonna get variations of that on each piece of each cape you get or anything. And this is a half cape, but you know they tore this one. Allegedly, it was so you would know that it was sent back or whatever, where it came from. It's for you. It's like, well, I'll tie this other thing. You know, like I'll tie this other thing. So these would be out of a cape, even if it's cheaper. If you want to fly out of it, you're gonna have to go to these guys down here. Right it. That's where your dry flies are. So, but you could still use a dry fly on this if you wanted. It just won't lay out like you. It's not gonna pop up on the top like the water. Like it's the same when you put your floatants or whatever you're using to keep them, you know, to give them more upwards movement on them. I think this one's gonna be somewhere in here because this is like that's a size 12. So that's what I'm saying. So like you're picking the feather also to the size of the hook, kind of how the hackle should look. This one might be, you know, and they have those measurers and stuff. But me, I always had to just go like this and look at and just pick through them, and I would just pluck one out. I'd be like, that's close. Like that's it. Like, and sometimes I still like not always on par, but that alone just make you more. It'll make you uniform just by eyeballing in case you didn't have those tools. And back in the day, we didn't have no tool to eyeball a hackle size to a hook or anything like that. It started later. It started a little bit later. It started coming up. People were like, why don't you have a hackle sizer? And then they were like, you tied that? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, why don't you have a hackle sizer? I said, I found the hackle that fits that size. I just start using that feather from that spot across and start picking through them. And then I found them even up in because on a bird, the things grow in at different, the bird sheds a feather, grows in a feather. So you have to think about that too. A bird sheds a feather, grows in a feather. So when you grab a thing, you're like, it looks horrible. You still might be able, that's the only thing left in the shop. They had a terrible. These are terrible, like, you know, pheasant thing. And you have to look at it like, well, what are you trying to tie? And you're like, well, the pheasant back looks like this. Okay, then this. Sometimes you might have to buy 2 pheasant backs. Or you might have to, but most of the time I just buy one, go through to this, and I go, okay, that part's for that kind of fly when I get to it. So I have a lot of stuff like that too. So I have like patches or something. I'm like, oh, it's just a patch. It's a patch or feather. And like, I can't even, I was like, but I want to use it for those. And I'm like, just leave it. Because like sometimes they're higher quality. I have some like few things that are like higher quality. So I'm like, I got to leave that little patch. And then a few things I gave to people, I was like, hey, like, what? And somebody was like, I don't even need it. It's nothing. I was like, no, you have tons of that already. You just wanted to take something, you know, and you already did. You know, like, it's kind of weird. People just, you know, And I just feel like, hey, I'm trying to share. I like to share and be cool. And just, I don't know. But that it doesn't work that way when there's other factors, which I've talked about. I think this is going to be the size right here. I think this is close. It's getting pretty close. Maybe the smaller one, because it's a 12, size 12. So and then they have those other ones that are from the long parts of the rooster. I think that's gonna be actually very similar, but the long thinner ones of the rooster, those ones, you know, they make a lot of good dry flies, and they sell them already for you like that. But if you just get like a big old cape, you can do that. You can have tons of flies, but you know, if you have the money for $50 a piece, $80 a piece, higher quality. I have a few that I got some at $14, $20. No, some of those are actually $80 capes. So I have like an $80 cape right now. I've been decimating. It's about to be gone pretty soon. But like, that's part of it too. So like knowing the difference and knowing what you could use it, and that'll save you money. You won't, if you're just a beginning tire person, you won't just got all this stuff sitting here. Like, That's why I don't like buying tons of fine points. I buy it as what I want to make, whatever I'm doing. Or in pieces, or it's like I know I can tie lots of things with this pattern, this one, or I like doing a lot of variations and stuff. So I know I always like using this particular feather, so, or this particular stuff. Hey, somebody, what's going on, man? So this one, I'm gonna use this as like the mayfly tail, and then I'm gonna put. This is the part. I'm trying to figure out the. See, so I have a CDC. You can see it's Rusty Spinner, and I'm trying to decide because I also want to. Actually, I might do another one. I might do that too, just because it kind of fits with the whole thing. I need. So I'm trying to get my dubbing right. And me, I want to put this on there too. And I don't need to, but I'm going to. Because I'm like, I actually didn't want to order this. I didn't want to order this stuff. I didn't want to order that stuff, guys. I was trying to check the millimeters, and I messed up. And I was like, oh, well, the puppy thinks this is a. She thinks this is really happening. It's like, yeah. For smart. For being such a little creature. That little dog, something else. But all right, let me get back to this. And I turn it down a little bit too, so y'all can hear me a little better. I have that for noise canceling. This is on kind of like for noise canceling because there's like other sounds going on around here. But so what I'm going to use is this. And I'm actually going to go up here. Not how, like everybody has their way of doing stuff, and then there's better ways. Obviously, there's always a better way to tie something, or your form can be even better. See, I missed some of but it doesn't always have to be you get because every wrap of a thread is a couple bucks, is $1. It's a couple bucks. It's something. So you can see that's such a sparse little thing. So we're gonna try to go like here. But I'm gonna put that gold oval. I've been kind of messing around with it, and I almost didn't want it, and then next thing you know, I realized I could do. I was just like, I can just do this with it. And I started like doubling over on it sometimes with the oval tinsel, and it like came out really shiny and like way more shiny almost than some regular tinsels I was using. And I mean the other style of tinsels, regular style. So I was like, this kind of works. Like, so we're gonna go to the backs. And I still got the one that Billy gave me from the used one stuff. And I'm trying to think because there's two ways I want to do this pattern, and there's patterns like this, and there's nothing new that I'm doing. Actually, that's what I'll do. So we'll do the old, and I did that before. I think this will work. I'm gonna take one of these. The best way to do it is to use another device, and there's devices for it where you can just go like that and you just make your hand. See me break it there. But I'm trying to use my nail. As you can see, it's coming off. It's a little tedious to do this, but you get a really cool look. And so I'm trying to get the bot. This is gonna be the body of the. But I actually want that off of there. And I've done a couple. I've done this before and demonstrated it in the past, on YouTube, and I took my whole channel down and stuff. But I'm actually doing it with my nail. A little tedious though to do it with nail, and it can get under there, and it don't put your hands in your mouth after. Make sure you wash your fingers. But you can see the whole bottom's got clear now. Sometimes I've done that and I left it like that and then I wrapped it because I wanted to have a little flicker in it. So see what I'm saying? Like there's so many little nuances to tying. You just don't think about it. You're like, I have to tie it like how, and you're like, no, and you're like, oh wow. And sometimes when you fish to something, you like it's a different reaction. There's a couple patterns like the one I got really into, and then I stopped tying them, and I tried to tie them again. I tried to go back and fish in this area where those fish love that at around the same time, and this fish were like, "What is that?" So I was like, "Oh, everything changed." And I looked around, and some of the hatches were coming off the same there, or whatever it was, and it wasn't the same anymore. But then the fish still took that lure, that fly, or whatever the lure was. It looked similar, but it was not it wasn't like before. It's just like, dang, it's fish in a barrel. It was just like, that was like a couple year thing, or once, like you were there at the right time. But yeah, this is what I'm doing. You can see I'm stripping and everybody knows about that. This is how you make some of the midge patterns. As you pull that off of there, you're making the quill pattern. But you can use your nail if you got a nail. Good nails are the right way. You can do it with your hand. And see, now it's almost all gone. That green is gone. You're just peeling off. You have to be gentle. Obviously, you saw me break that tip off there. But you can also take, not necessarily a razor blade, but you can take like the scissors and then just set it, and it'll just take one side. You just have to kind of be gentle and tactical about it. As you can see it coming off and floating in the air. And it is the only time with this one, when you do it, I always get frustrated because like if you mess it up and then it doesn't work, if you don't tie it at the right spot, it'll break. And it doesn't have the quality. I mean, these quills are not super old. I got them 2013. These quills. So they're not that bad. And there's some really good ones in the center because they're kind of like protected. And I'm keeping them pretty sealed and stuff, so away from stuff. But that's part of it too, keeping your stuff sealed stuff. I have stuff that's from when I'm still tying with stuff that I had when I was 10. Just to let y'all know, I still have stuff I tied with since I was 10 years old. Certain feathers and stuff, I do have some. I've been tying since I was 10. So if you keep your stuff somewhat sealed and nice, it can last. And even when someone else can be picking it up and be like, I'm using them stuff. So with age and time, you can, yeah. And I noticed some stuff I had at one point, they were like, can I have that? Can I have that? I was like, why do they want to go? It's like they don't make that no more, It's pretty clean now if you can see it. So what I'm trying to do is have the body have like that brown, weird segment look that the fly has. And they're usually kind of a thin fly, the mayflies. If I can get it to kind of sit like I'm not really mad if there's a little bit of green in there. This is like something I haven't tied before, in a way. And I'm kind of going to leave this part because I'm going to leave their workroom in there, I think, because I'm not really going to get upset about it. I don't want to build it. because they kind of these things. It's funny. I don't know if you're a fly fisherman person and or you've been on the river and you know what I'm talking about. You ever watch the mayfly when it lands and how they wiggle? The butt, how it turns up and they wiggle, and them two little, and they be so small, you know, like they're so small. Like that would be like the biggest one. So that'd be like it, like big. This would be a pretty big mayfly technically. So it's like I didn't want to go, but you can make a smaller mayfly in a way if you take this back a little bit, like like right there, more hook is exposed, you know. So that sounds like, well, we'll see how this comes out, and I'm trying to make it kind of thick, but not too thick. I think right there, see, because that's where it wants to go down. That's your view of where it should be. So it's thicker there. Then that's where I would start my hat. I'm out thinking about doing. But what my idea was to just wrap this. I'm not worry about it. And then see if I can use this whole thing to wrap up it. If I can't, I'll have to wrap in another quill. And yeah, so I'm using this as a mayfly body basically. Instead of the other quill bodies they use, I'm just using a peacock curl as the quill body. And yeah, I don't know, is it gonna make it, guys? I think it's gonna make it. That's nothing, you can press it, but you gotta make sure you keep it snug. And you can press it because it will come loose. And once you start wrapping it, it's gonna have a curl to it, and it's gonna make it way more havoc for you. Everything isn't in about. Just tie it, have fun. It's an art. It's a craft. And over time, your hands become more, and you realize what something is. So now that's pretty snug. Hold it, snug. 1, 2, 2, 3. It's pretty much locked in. Tie it down. I'll put one there. Just follow the old tie flying semi new flies people's handbook. And then I'm gonna go like this. And what I was going to do, because I wrapped it underneath, wrap this one over, and I just wanted to wrap it with the oval because I thought that would be like really fun to do. Like instead of using a wire, I'll just use this and see if I can get it to kind of. It's moving a little bit. Let's see. I have to tie it with it. Did I get it? There we go. We got it. But sometimes it's just a little bit of play with that, and if you want it to fit right. So there's the gold, and I wanted to make sure to put the gold in. I just wanted to have like a little bit of like attraction in there, and then just like that's like its wispy tail. Very simple, easy. This is like would be considered easy subject. Yeah, so that's why I tied it that way. So now you can see, looks beautiful. But that is a peacock curl quill in there, and I just decided to wrap it with gold because I wanted a little bit of, but they're very small. Of a gold wire. I used oval tinsel because oval tinsel has like a little bit more a bunch of the refractions on it. Even though I don't know if you can see it when I turn it, but this is like this is the very small gold. This is the smallest one. So if you ordered it, it's the smallest one. So it's like it's eyes. small things. And what I was like, what I needed was one for the larger pattern. And then I was like, is that the one? And then for some reason they sent me the small one. So I was like, well, then I'll make it work for the mini ones and the big ones. So, I mean, you can even, if you really want to stay, to make sure, because now we have this part, we can put UV, a dash of UV if you really want to make sure it's kind of like protected. You can put a dash of UV in there, like the resin in there, and that's what I like about that resin's available. That's the only thing about that I liked about it. I was like, oh, that makes all these other things that I used to do that I used to struggle with back in the day. That I had to like build my skill about. It made that part easier. I think I might just use this thin on it a little bit on the top. Just a little bit. Hope my light will work. Or either that or I'm just gonna let it sit there. But yeah, it's just this fun stuff. But it looks pretty good, right? Like but this is like a mayfly I was like been thinking about. Like it's nothing like nobody's not tied, but I think like the way I just wanted to like do a little zestiness to it. Yeah, I just put one little stroke of UV. Let's see, it's gonna take 20 seconds. It says to cure. So hold it on there for a second. Yeah, and there's another one I wanted to mess with too. There's another pattern I was like looking at. I didn't mess with it because I saw how everybody was doing it. I was like, hey, I could do that too, but I kind of want to do it this way because I kind of still like putting the hackle on it. So this fly could be turned into a spinner style fly, just the two wings, and then it could be dubbing, or it could be that body like I just made, or it could be something else. You do all kind of different ways to make that. And I'm just kind of putting this resin because I wanted to hold that gold part on there. Because trout got teeth. They do have teeth. Sharper than you think. You can still. I lip trout all the time. I lip trout all the time. I've lipped salmon before too. Not the funnest thing to do. Don't lip a salmon. Okay. I think I got it. All right. So then the other part, and now this is where I was trying to decide. Trying to decide parachute or not a parachute. Parachute pattern or just out wings on the side. I think I like this one. This pattern, I think we're gonna do it this way. This was because I'm just creating something a little different outside of it. Fun stuff. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm me, man. I've been through a lot of shit, and so is everybody else. I'm not your demon sacrifice. That's what I always like to say. I'm not your demon sacrifice. But you want to see what I tie, what I do, what I like to do, what I do? You can. Nothing is as it appears. All right. And then we're going to put a dash of it. And trick to that stuff is trying to keep stuff. But when I tie a trout fly, it's different than when I tie a salmon thing or something else. or a nose. Let's see here. Not quite like I want. Let's see. Got my feather in. Now, do I want to do a parachute? Parachute would be dope. If I did a parachute right there, I think it would be pretty dope too. Parachute, oh, that might be dope with a parachute, bro. With that wrapped around it, that'd be dope. And then we'll just hit it with the darker. You want it lighter? Or is that just dark? That's just almost too dark. But it's flashy though. It might work. Let's see. Let's see if we can do it. Now we're gonna see if we can put the CDC on here. I'm gonna decide. I'm thinking I'm gonna try to do the CDC. So it's like a rusty sprinter, but it's like a little. I'm gonna decide if it's gonna work like I want it to. I'm gonna decide if that's gonna work like I want it. Will it? It might. I want it almost wet. The darker wings, the white wings, but I'm thinking in this case, I might be able to do it something different within the same realm. So I think if I take 2 of these, that will be my standard. And I'm just like, should I just do it? I should just do it the old way. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be tough because it's a smaller fly too. I don't know. Everybody has other ways that would tell me to do this too. I guarantee someone will be like, "Hey, run! Shoot down this way." It's like, how high should I have that standing up though? Thought process. Maybe like there. Right there, maybe. But it'd be okay if I turn. No, it's not gonna work if I turn that back like that. I'm gonna have to do it right there on it. Like right here. Yep, probably like right there. This is a lot of it's gauging where you're putting stuff. So I'm gonna try to wrap it down. See, and that's swept back. But I need to put wax on this, but I have not. And then we're gonna try to. It'll be okay. Was it gonna be okay? I'm gonna have to do one more. I think in the front. Such a little fly. When they're little like these, don't they? That's why the microscope helps. Or do you get harder it's gonna get with this stuff? And we're gonna cool it down right there. So I wanted to do like a spinner style, but at the same time, I kind of want to do like. I'm kind of in between on what I want to do because I grabbed that material. I was like, ooh, I want to do this one fly because there's like a hatch on the area. Oh no! Oh, we lost it, guys. Look at that. See, it came out. God, I think God's telling me don't do that. He said, "Don't do that, man. Run, you had it, but don't do that." Someone wanted that to go. You can't do CD like that. Yeah, you can. Hold on. It could be out or in. I have to do it the other way then. Dang, that sucks. Do I really want to do it that way though? I want it to go. It has to be lower to the post. Seriously, I don't want it to be. Yeah, it'll work better if I do it that way because it's gonna be stronger at the base. All right. Stronger at the base. But then there's those. You know what? Let's just do it that way. But that's what I want to do. That's one of the ones I want to do. I've been messing around with that, and I'm like, there's other patterns. And like, I'm sure there's a skill for it. But what I want to do with it, it's a little bit more weird on this one. I don't know why. For me, it feels like it's weird. That's what happens. Like for me, I was like, now I'm like, I just want to have fun with some stuff. I want to see something. So that's not gonna work how I want it. So we want to take this out. Okay, we got it out of there. Okay, and then we'll just do that. This is the other way. So I was saying, like, I'm just kind of like, I'm free birding in here. Free bird. I don't see. What is that? Did I put it wrong? I gotta roll through it. What's this? Oh, here we go. What is it? Yeah, here we go. We found it. We got it. Like, it's just. I leave my stuff. Oh, God. I gotta get my stuff. All right. Well, we're going to put these in. Everybody puts them in so different, too. It's so funny. And you watch other people do this, and then I'm like, I learned about this. And I remember doing like double wings and wrapping them like I'm doing posts on another fly. And I was like, and I watched someone else doing something. I was like, man, that's like how I used to wrap. I said, I used to wrap those like that all the time. And I said, it was easier for me. It just seemed like, like, yeah. And then like your fly looks like that. And I'm like, that's so weird. Here we go. We're going to use this. What I originally thought of using, go back to what I used to work with. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, get it good. And I don't have a stacker, so and like I said, if you don't have a stacker, learn how to stack without your having a stacker. If you don't have a hair stacker, you better learn how to pinch these hairs and pull them apart and separate them and put them back together. And you're gonna lose some. Just anybody out there. I'm just plucking them out. And see, that's what I said. So you'll waste a lot of hairs, but you can take that hairs and make something else. You can make dubbing brushes or something with them. See, so this is the other thing you can do. So I haven't done this in a long time either. Certain things, I'm like, let me just go back to like seeing how I feel about it. Like, how do I feel about this? So like, see, that's one. See, and then it makes it better with some of these things when you have a tool, those tools. See, rolled it that way. I got one. The butter's name wrong.
You only have 8 minutes left to get them out.
Oh, okay.
What's the secret, Pico?
This is what the part is. So now it's gonna be a spinner. So I was just gonna get. I want to do that one because that one's the one. This other pattern.
My name is Marissa LeBaron, and this is my acorn's potential.
It's time, your time, not just to go back to school.
Can I do it?
Come back and move forward.
Oh yeah, I can.
Start your comeback today.
Ooh,
After Duke
I don't know. I don't like that. Probably should have done them together.
I can't wait to use you in Scrub, Daddy.
If you love Scrub Daddy, why not bring Scrub Mommy to the party? She's way more absorbent thanks to her soft, reservoir backside. And Scrub Mommy can wipe away those pesky leftover wet spots.
Double the fun with less money.
Like it's just, oh no, oh no, guys, my expertise is failing me. No, it's just I don't care. I'm just having fun. Because I wanted this. I just wanted to tie this thing in my mind. There was this thing in my mind, and it was like I don't know. There was just something in my mind, and I didn't want to like take the hairs and just put them and fold them down. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do any of those things that are like another habit that I would normally do. I wanted to do it different. And then I was like, I'm going to do it live. It's fine. I don't care if I fail at it, if it works out bad, works out good. But these ones, I never had any reason to tie anything. These. But I just thought about it. It's like, tie it here. And I think this would be fun. But doing it, this part, it would have been easier with one part without a stack, with a stacker. And my fingers are just like grabbing so bad. It's like, oh, grab. Okay. There we go. Kind of. Just to let you know, how many spinners do I tie? I don't tie these. I tie other stuff. Tying it. Not how you're supposed to do it. We want it to be perfect and great. It's failed. Oh no. Oh, I'm just tying and showing how you can fail on tying this spinner fly. Because I had something else in mind, and I just decided I just abandoned it, and I wanted to do something. And then I decided I wanted to do something else. That's what I basically did. I was like, I abandoned it, and I was like, I want to try this other thing now. Like I was like, now I'm like, oh no. So like sometimes that's not good to do either, because then your mind's in another place, and then you have to get your fingers to do what you want them to do. And this is like, so like I have one ear out. If you see, one ear. And yes, I know about the when you do this thread and spin it loose. It's gonna be a little off. Probably should have let's tie it in the same way. Because I am right-handed, but I'm pretty good lefty. Come on, lefty. This is a really pretty small fly. That's what it is. I'm struggling with this fly. I was like irritated. Hella irritated about how people treat others and stuff. And it doesn't matter how well, like, I don't know, just like I said, like, it doesn't matter how well you tie or don't tie or whatever the thing you do. Sometimes people just, Well, I think that's all you're good for. Meh. I mean, here, I kind of like it looking the other way. But I guess I can do it this way too. See, I could have just done it this way with that, and it looks like a tough. I just fought it. I didn't want it to do that. You understand, guys? I didn't want it to do that. I just wanted to look at it the other way. Like I was just like, it has to be this way. Isn't that how some people treat some people in their relationships? Has to be like this, and yet their person's there with you. Some people don't understand that. All right, we got a couple wraps in there. We're gonna pull them back and we're gonna wrap right here. Good. Don't know if we're gonna be able to get in there. We don't have that tool. Get that out of there. So like I've seen the ones that have more tufts. I've seen the ones that are more like this too. And I see why people started tying on that one because they're like it still gets the effect. It actually still gets the effect, but it's just gonna be a little because I don't tie these. I don't just letting you know this is my first time tying one. So but get it. Let's see if we can get it too. I think we're gonna get it to go right. I ruined it. It's over, guys. I destroyed it, guys. See? That's what it is. This is what you tie. This is what gets you. Here. We're going to do it the simplest way, Dave. Here we go. That's it. What the heck happened here? All right, guys. I'm done. I'm irritated. We're going to go. Now we're not going to get fancy. We're going to do simple. Simplest. We lost some calf tail. We're going to do the simplest way. Here's the simplest way to get one of these flies. I tried to do it the other way. I'm sure there's another way. I'm sure there's this way. Here's the way I'm going to do it then. So there's your learning experience, guys. But this is a pattern I don't tie. So I'm going to wrap here, pull here, pull back over here, there, pull back there. And I'm going to wrap it back here. I'm going to secure it like that. And we're going to kind of flare back. And then I'm going to take this. And this is the part. This is why it got messed up because I didn't do one. But these are actually kind of easy to tie once you tie enough of them. Parachutes were really hard for me. Patterns at first, and then they got easier, and then they got hard again because I didn't tie them anymore. And so this is like a spinner pattern, but I changed over to now this is a spinner pattern. Just not feeling it. It was just not working for me. And then I need to snug that in. So I need to be able to see. It happens, getting older. See it. Can't see that pattern as good. All right. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Fly tires know what I'm talking about. You know, you're just trying to make like a laid out spinner mayfly. And it's just that's part of the art. And it's not always gonna go perfect, especially when you do it live. But sometimes I'm pretty good because I have, you know, I had concept and stuff. I'd be like, oh, it doesn't work. I did actually wanted to tie the other one because the other one's actually higher. To me, it's a higher difficulty than tying this. It's a higher difficulty to me. For me, I think that's what it's coming down to now. Like I was like, is that difficult to tie or is that like easy to tie? And that's weird to think about it like that, but I think that's what it is for me too. No, it's like, oh, those patterns. Let me see that. It's not even about what is that? Can I tie it? To me, it's more of like, can I even tie those? I think I can tie the one that's pretty. I think I can tie it pretty good. Just one. I was like, I think I can do that one. That he designed or whatever and helped design. Got it. I actually think I can tie that one pretty good. I just haven't tied it because it's required. I need to. It's like, you know, sometimes you're like, I need to work with the same materials they're working with. So I left some room on the hood. We're gonna have to go through this. This is the part I didn't put. That's probably my reason. Part of my reason I was having problems. We're just doing all kinds of stuff. We just make sure it's got wax all. I don't care. It's the first one of these I've actually tied in a long time. Like something like this. But what I wanted to do was take that hackle feather like that and then do this. And I was gonna wrap it with that cream, this cream color, with this bleach color, and then wrap it to this side and then crisscross it. That's what I wanted to do. And then pull it back. That's what I wanted to do. And then this is my first thought process was when I was like, I'm gonna tie my own style of mayfly spinnery down, but with a hackle. And it don't need to have much to them. Doesn't need to have much to it because these things aren't that big. This fly itself, the creature itself is not that. So doesn't really need to have. I need to snug it. Oh, it's staying. And then this, we're gonna cut out some of the calf tail out. Then we're gonna pull it back. Technically, that fly is done right there, where it is right now. It's done, but I'm trying to like lay the wraps in there a little bit, so it's like kind of. So that's what we were trying to get, but it's really difficult. So I wanted to do one like this, but with like a hackle to it. So we got it. And we're honestly, it's like, how do I want it to really look? But I was like, I think this is gonna be Nothing that ain't been done before, I don't think. I think it's gonna be hot though. Like a hot trout fly in the spring. But the thing is, I've seen hatches come off in this time of year too, when we get the warmer day. So they have to because it's just their cycle is over. They have to, and those fish, I don't know, they know. So even in the lake, they kind of know. Like it's weird, and they're like they don't hatch in the lake, and they used to say that like mayflies don't hatch in the lake, and so I'm like they do. Water, anything in water. So there you go. This was the whole point of this. So there's your two wings out like a spinner fly. And then I was trying to have let's work and see if we can work with it a little bit. And then a hackle on top of it. Because I wanted to be able to put something on it, you know, place to put your floating and stuff. Because it's a dry fly. And it's supposed to lay out on the water. So and then I'm gonna glue it down. Struggle, but not too bad. But that's calf tail on there, and yeah, I missed a couple times. Oh well, it can't be perfect every time until you keep tying that same pattern over and over again. So you can't really get mad at yourself, guys. But thanks for hanging. Pattern's complete. I wasn't decide. I had two ways I was deciding to tie this thing. Other ways would have had also would have been dubbing would have been used. So just standard dubbing in the body, but I wanted to have that part element and then this element. So those kind of can be chin back, but I wanted to have it have a hackle element to it, like it's like a normal fly, like a normal dry fly, like a regular your standard dry fly. Some people don't like when you have these tufts like in there, like where they're sweeping back like that and stuff, because they're like some people don't like that because of the what they have always seen. They want it to be clean. So some people like it clean. So here, we'll clean it up a little bit. But I hate plucking feathers. Because other people always pluck feathers because they're some evil people out here. I like plucking people when they're trying to pluck feathers that don't need to be plucked because they got demons in them or they're your family. Like these people are there's so much fucked up stuff, man. Whew. Just keep praying, man. That's all you can do if you believe in that. Some people gonna post something there again. I don't know. It's beautiful. Put that on there. I'm gonna drop a drop in the middle. It's that little fly, man. So, hold on. That's not gonna work. We don't want too much of that. All right, see if we can do it. Would that be? This card right there. All right, we got it. So this is second, I guess. This now is a spinner fly with hackle variation. It was meant to be this other thing, but playing around with CDC. I never played around with CDC much. So we never like someone says you're not a master for this. It's like you're never. You're, in fly tying, you're kind of never really a master. You're just master of certain skills, and then depends on. And then you're like, I master that because that's what I taught. I remember one person was like, I don't need him. He told me the same thing. He's like, I don't need a master all that stuff. I just tie a bunch of these things because that's what I like to fish for. I said, I like to fish for these other things and that thing and this thing and this thing. And he's like, for you, that's going to work. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Boom, yeah, so all done. We're just putting the UV on it, finish it off. Little mayfly, basically a little mayfly spinner style with a hackle. And then I almost was gonna turn it into. I wanted to turn it into a parachute style mayfly of my own, whatever. But it looked good. It's definitely a fly. It definitely has the look it needs that a mayfly would have. I used a calf tail, which I would rather this have been. I wanted to do a parachute, something between a parachute and this type of thing, a spinner fly. And I guess I kind of got a spinner dry. I guess I kind of did end up with it. Just making sure this UV is in there. On a size 12, there you can see if I can bring close. Those two little hairs are 12. There you go. So if you look at it, there you go. There's a little spinner fly, like it'd be a mayfly, a late summer mayfly. Tail is just a little bit of mallard. That's regular mallard, but it definitely gives that effect of what a mayfly's tail would be. Even though it's not dark color, is it darker colored, but it has those bars, so that's your substitution. It's just a little lighter colored mayfly. Little pancakey fly you would throw out there. But I wanted to tie a few because we get like this hatch over here that's like that, and I was like, I haven't been able to even get it off there and try it. But it's just like, this would be fun because I've seen them, what the colorations look like, and then the serrations on the body. Like most flies they all look like that, but those ones kind of similar look like this. And then I put the gold oval as a translucent. And there's some resin on the back there. Yeah, so there's a spinner fly, but it has a hackle collar, and then that would be your mayfly tails. And see, so I made them real sparse because mayfly tails usually are split, but I was like, just make them real sparse. Don't think a trout's gonna pick up on that. But yeah, I don't think a trout's gonna pick up on that, but they do pick up on some stuff sometimes. So cool little fly. Variation of a spinner fly. Using calf tail. Using some oval tinsel. So yeah, I try to flex too. I don't just get upset about cults and evil people attacking me from their dungeons of demonistic things and making me look like the demon so they can, because they have controls of everybody else, of everything. Amen. Amen. All right, guys. I'm done for tonight. Hour and 45 minutes. Tied a couple flies. I was going to tie another one. Um, Decided not to. I'm going to call it a night, I think. Thank you for watching. Hope I was somewhat informative and I knew it sounded like I knew what I was talking about. Hope I sounded what I knew what I talking about. Thank you guys. Thursday Fly. Wonderful. Catch you all later. Peace.